Never argue with a woman. Let me repeat that. Never argue with a woman because she's all wrapped up in her emotions. And in this video, I'm going to go over the 5 reasons why you should never argue with a woman, okay? And most importantly, what you should do about it when things start to escalate. Because when you disagree with her, or you, most importantly, call her out on her bad behavior, and yes, women do act bad sometimes. Maybe they give you shit tests, or maybe they just say something and you're like, what the hell was that? And you want to have a discussion, but never argue with her. And that's what we're going to get into in this video. All right. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kane. I'm the Silver Bachelor. This channel is 100% dedicated to dating advice for older guys and the women that want to understand them. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and the notification button because I'm dropping videos every week. But first, I created a free ebook and a free audiobook that you can get at the link in my description on how to be better with dating younger women. Also, I offer one-on-one coaching. These are video calls. You can ask me anything and I'll give you some feedback and advice on those topics. I was married before for 20 years and I've been dating for 5 years and I've been on hundreds of dates. I know all about this, especially if you're a single older guy and all these things you're going to go through, and I can help you level up your game and as quick as 1 hour. All right, let's get into this video. So, there are reasons to never argue with a woman, and specifically 5 I'm going to get into right now. Number 1, women do not take accountability. No secret, but don't even take it from me. I've asked many women Uber drivers, and that question, I'm like, look, why is it when I try to bring up something to a woman for constructive feedback, they won't take accountability? Is that true? Is that true that just women just really have a hard time taking accountability? Every single woman Uber driver has said, yeah, us women have a hard time taking accountability. So don't expect her to take accountability when the argument's starting to happen and you're just trying to point out something that she did wrong. That is clearly her fault. This leads me to number 2 is, if you do bring something to her attention that she clearly did that was not cool, that was her fault, that was disrespectful, whatever, and then she will try to gaslight you is the number 1. The number 2 reason why to never argue with a woman: if you start arguing with a woman, most likely she's going to gaslight you. What does gaslighting mean? She basically tries to make it your fault. Well, I wouldn't have got mad, or I wouldn't have said that if you would have taken out the garbage. Okay. Or, if you would have woke up when the alarm went off at 8 o'clock, I wouldn't have called you an asshole, that kind of thing, right? Women are masters at gaslighting and flipping it back on you that it's your fault for their fuck ups. Okay. So that's number 2. Number 3, they will play the victim. Oh yeah, women are the masters at playing the victim and with also using crocodile tears. And they do this with family. They do this with friends. And I remember one time, a friend of mine, imagine this, a friend of mine is managing a spa clinic, right, where people can go in and get spa treatments and Botox and all these things. She's the manager. And this clinic hasn't opened yet. They have their grand opening party, okay? Hundreds of people. I think it was like 400 people expected to be at this party, and we're actually at this party. And she's the manager, remember this. And the grand opening was between, 5 o'clock and 10 o'clock, something like this. She leaves the party halfway through, goes on the sidewalk and starts eating a sandwich because she was hungry, okay? Like as if she's going to starve not eating for 5 hours, and she's not diabetic where she needs food and all these things, okay? Well, one of the owners sees her sitting outside having the sandwich and looks at her and says, get back in there, basically, right? She ends up getting fired eventually. And she's telling me the reasons why, because they fired her with cause. And they're going through the reasons why they fired her, okay? People don't fire people for just any reason, typically. There are reasons why you get fired, all right, in general. Sure, sometimes it's because a family member doesn't like you, but in general, you're fired most likely because of an attitude problem. I know, I manage people, and I've fired people, and I've hired people. It's almost always an attitude problem, not a performance issue. So she gets fired and she's telling me some of these things and why she got fired. And one of the things they mentioned is that she went and had a sandwich in the middle of their biggest launch event. And she was reading this to me and telling me this. And she's like, can you believe it? One of the reasons what they cited for firing me is because I was hungry and I couldn't have a sandwich on a little break during this event. Again, women will play the victim, and in my good heart, I couldn't tell her. I was about to say her name. I couldn't say, yeah, that's why you got fired. Maybe I should have, but I didn't. I'm just listening to her, right? I was just trying to be that friend where she was just laying it all out on me. But into my mind, I'm like, yeah, you deserve to be fired for that shit. So, but women are masters. It's always someone else's fault and playing the victim. That's why you shouldn't argue with them. Number 4 is they will make excuses, okay? So you're trying to hold them accountable for something and they will make excuses, right? So for example, 70% of divorces are filed by women, and that number goes up to 90% when they're college educated. But you know, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on most social platforms, and I cover these topics, and I have shorts as well on those other channels. And whenever I've cited, let's say, the 70% statistic, is the women will come back and make comments like, well, it's because he was mistreating her or some shit like that. No, you know why? You know the main reason why? When you divorce, you have to say a reason why you're filing for the divorce. And overwhelmingly, that reason is irreconcilable differences. Not abuse, not neglect, none of those things that women wish was the reason. No, she just checked out. She just checked out of the relationship for all these minor reasons. But at the end of the day, the woman's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm done with this. It's not abuse. It's not SA. It's not mistreatment or any of this shit. But yet women always have excuses. So for example, right, in other things, like they will say shit like, well, it's the male patriarchy or this or that, and that's what's holding women back. Okay, well, look at this. Just a fun fact, all right? And I see this male patriarchy crap all the time. If the patriarchy was so true, if it was really, really true, the male patriarchy, just remember this, guys. Why is it there are more women CEOs in the Fortune 1000 than men of color? Let me repeat that. There are more women CEOs in the Fortune 1000 than men of color. So if male privilege was a real thing, and by the way, I'll do a video on this author, this book that came out, A Self-Made Man. And it was a woman that decided to basically pretend she's a man for a year. And oh, what an eye-opener. In her book, she actually says, wow, I had no idea the challenges that men go through and that male privilege is a myth. Okay. So women, just as I mentioned, will always have excuses for their lack of success, always have excuses for when they fuck up. And it's nonsense. So that's why you should never argue with a woman. And number 5, last one, is women never say they're sorry. A simple sorry can diffuse anything pretty much, right? And I learned this from a doctor, a clinical psychologist. And she's a doctor, and she said, if you want to diffuse an argument or a fight, the best thing you can say is, I apologize, or I'm sorry. And all of a sudden, tensions drop. Oh, women do not do that. No, they don't. And so that's another reason why you should never argue with a woman. But I want to hear from you in the comments what you think, if there's any other reasons, and what has your experience been with trying to argue with a woman. All right, we'll see you next time.